Hello everybody and welcome back to Clickteam Studios, and as you may have noticed that I have started using my voice because I finally got a microphone, and today I'm going to teach you on how to do and how to make homing attacks. Now there is already a topic on this video, but it's for the Not So Simple Sonic Worlds framework, and I decided that I would show you how I did it without the Not So Simple Sonic Worlds framework, but using a little bit of the code as a base. It's not really that long. It's not that complex. It is a little bit hard to the point where I have to get a what is it? A sheet. It's a refreshment sheet to where I can kind of remember what I kind of have to do in the video. But it's not that hard. It shouldn't take that long. As you may saw that I already got it set up, so we got like the basic things done already, like the ground. But as you can tell, there is no homing attack, and there's no way to get to the enemy. So let's start with that. So you're going to need this, basically. The player, the ground, the enemy, and the homing attack. And you're going to need a couple of other things. One, you're going to need the easing object, which if you don't have it, you can literally do go into the manager, and you should be able to find it through there, but I already have mine. So the next thing that you're going to need is a couple of global values. You're going to need a jumping global value and a homing global value. Now we should have everything, and if you're wondering what these objects are, these are actives. I mean, probably already know that if you've been working on Fusion for a while, but if you just started being a game dev, then these are all actives with the exception of the easing object and the backdrop. Anyways, so the first thing that we want to do so we can be clean and tidy is to set a new group of events so that we know where this is. And the group of events is basically kind of like a folder on your computer that organizes stuff. So let's call this homing attack. And the first thing that we are going to want to do is to kind of set up what the jump button and the homing attack button are going to do. So if you have your jump button configured to a key, because the default jump button is shift and the second button for that is control, you can reconfigure the jump to be any button by going into your main application settings. So I already have mine reconfigured to S, so I'm just going to do that, and then you got to set it to a global value, and of course it's already set to jumping is to 1. So there, if you run the test, go to global values, you should be able to see jumping is indeed equal to 1 when you go to your little thing down there. Then we're going to copy the code, except whatever your action key is will be it. So in my case, I'm going to do D. If you want to make it any other key, and then we're going to edit it and make it turn it into homing. So now if D is pressed, then it should be. However, we're going to kind of do this so that glitches can't really happen when we do this. And I make sure to do this every time I code, because what can go wrong with Fusion will go wrong sometimes. You just got to be prepared. So now 0101, yep. So now if we run the frame, if you go into your little menu thing down here and open the global values folder, it should first show them at 0 and 0. But if you press your jump button, it should go up to a 1 when you're pressing the jump button, then go back to 0. Then whenever you're pressing D, it should go to 1 when you're not pressing D, it should go to 0. Anyways, we have that set up. Now we can get into the real meat and potatoes of this tutorial. So once we do that, we're going to set a new command to set S if S equals 1, because Clickteam, our coding, is basically just if and then statements, and it's no different in Clickteam. So we're going to compare global value, and if jumping equals 1, and then we're going to, I believe, set the next thing to happen. So we're going to set the then statement. Alright, we're going to set for this to reappear, which I forgot to mark it as invisible, so I'll have to go back and mark that as invisible when we get done with this first section. Then we're going to set the position to whatever it is, whether it's a spring, an enemy, a breakable wall. You're just going to have to set the position. What I will mark is if you do set it for like an enemy, or not an enemy, to a spring or a breakable wall, set it in a specific direction, in a specific spot, and it's easy by just going to select X coordinate, select Y coordinate, and you should need to do that so glitches don't happen. But anyways, we got that, and then the next thing that we got to do is, well, no, that's actually it. So for this part of the code, so I'm gonna go back out here, and we're gonna turn this invisible, and wrong part, visible. And if you guys are gonna put this out of the frame, make sure that destroy object if too far isn't active, because then the object will be destroyed. I've had to deal with this a couple of times where something wasn't coming through because it was off screen and this little check mark was on. You do want to like have it unmarked most of the time. Anyway, so now we run frame. As you can see, it's appearing and it's setting, but it's not unsetting. We'll get to that. Let's see what the next mark is. So the next thing is something that I forgot that you need, but you need a group. Basically need a group framing. So what you're gonna go and do is qualifiers, and then you're gonna go to add. So you got basically all of these. They don't really do any difference. They're just groups. But if you have a spring, set it into like a different group than the enemies, and then you're gonna have to create a different homing attack thing and recode everything. Well, not recode everything, I should say, but add in a piece of code that differentiates the spring coding from the enemy homing attack coding or the breakable wall coding. So here we're going to use the enemy groups. Then we're going to press OK. Alright, so the next thing is that we're going to pick the closest group 4 objects from Mikey. So we're going to do this. Oh, sorry, I'm reading a reference sheet. So from the code that I got from when I was first making the homing attack in my game. So if anything accidentally slips out, it's because I'm reading a reference sheet from that I made. Pick or count. So basically we're going to go to pick or count. I'm not even in the right tab. Okay, we're going to go to pick or count and closest objects from player. But that's not all, because we're also going to add to the if statement by getting the distance. And now here's where I actually screwed up on my first attempt of recording this tutorial, because I'm trying to condense it down from the original recording was 44 minutes, so I'm condensing it down right now into like something that's like, oh, it's something simple, but it takes a while. I'm just trying to get straight to the point. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do this. Compare 2 general values. Is it lower or is it greater? I think it's lower. And then it's going to be 300. And then we're going to get the distance. By what, you may say? Well, we're going to be getting the distance of group 4 from the X and Y values of the player. So, position, distance with a point. Then it's going to be position, where's the position? Position X coordinate, and then position of Y coordinate. Okay, and then we have, I think, the next if statement. X and Y position of homing attack equals enemy. So let's do this. Oh wait, gonna insert position. Test was no, it's gonna be X position. Enemy position. X enemy, and then insert again. Position. Position Y, and then position Y coordinate. Enemy. You're gonna press OK, and then I believe we have one more if statement part of that, and it's going to be the action button. So whatever your action button is, in this case it is D. So we're gonna set and compare the global value of homing equals 1, and now we get into the then statement, the then part of the statement, and this is where your easing object actually comes in, and it's actually quite simple to set this up. So what we're gonna have to do is go to the easing object, and we're going to move object, and the object that's going to be moved is our player, and it's going to be linear ease out, and then the X coordinate is going to be the coordinate of our enemy. So position, that's not position, position X coordinate, position, oh that's not the right thing, position Y coordinate. Dang it! Okay. Yeah, it's that. And X coordinate. Y coordinate. And then we're gonna do milliseconds, and it's gonna be 120. And now we got this. And there's, if we test it out, see, it works now. But there's still another thing that we have to do before it becomes the perfect homing attack. Or, well, not the perfect, because it's not the best. I mean, that is the basic code for the homing attack. But we have to make it invisible when we are not pressing the jump button. So if jumping does not equal 1, so you could either do this by different than jumping, jumping is different than 1, or jumping equals 0. I'm just going to do 0 because it can't really be on any other value. We're going to do just visibility invisible. And if you want to set the position to somewhere else, you can do that so that it doesn't appear. But now it disappears. And the only other way to do this, to end this tutorial off, is how to destroy the enemy, which actually will depend on how complex your destruction of the enemies in game, or in your games. In mine, it's just a simple animation, and then they're destroyed. But here, I'm just going to do like this. Collision, another object, that's going to be enemy. Actually, collision overlapping would be better if you don't have any collisions enabled to the enemy. We're going to do, and to make sure that this works, we're going to do visibility, visible, and destroy. So now we destroyed the enemy. There's a couple of things that I need to know about this, is that whenever you add an enemy, you need to duplicate the enemy and duplicate the homing, because if you don't do that, and if you just duplicate the enemy, then your coding, for some reason, will do this. It will do not the nearest for some reason, but the one most far away, and it won't appear for it, seeming as a glitch. But the way that I've managed to counteract that is by just, well, duplicating another one. And then boom, you got two, and it still does nearing, so now you can do homing attack chains. Thank you for watching the tutorial. Please subscribe for more Clickteam dev tips and trailers that are to come soon for Mike the Hero Mania. Thank you for watching, and peace.